right, good morning out there. Today is Thursday, December 18th, 2025. I'm Anthony, and this is Drive Dive, and thanks for being with me. Appreciate you clicking on the video and watching at least a little bit here. I want to talk about like 3 different audiobooks I've kind of read throughout the last, year and a half or so. And the first was Atomic Habits by James Clear, and I think I was struggling with this, a long commute that I have, and really some hits my career took, and just kind of feeling down and maybe not so productive and making money, just getting things done off the to-do list, etc. And that kind of helped me examine, I think, my goals, habits, and routines, and my identity. How do I identify, and so what actions am I going to take throughout the course of the day to support those various identities, and how can I maybe take those actions, complete those actions in a more efficient fashion. The other one was Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, and I don't know that I actually finished the whole book. It was kind of, at first, hard to get into. Just the style of writing was a bit different than I was used to, but then realized there's a bunch of anecdotes and stories about how to, just behave in different situations, and different alternative approaches where one ends poorly and the other ends better, right? You kind of get the outcome that you want and everybody's happy, sort of thing. So that was a good read, but I didn't think it was terribly helpful in terms of like my goals at the time. And then more recently was Susie Walsh's Becoming You, which I think was far more impactful and than Carnegie's work, but also aligned more with James Clear's work, and I think a nice sort of supplement or so with James Clear's book. So like, in addition to how you choose to identify and the things you're trying to get done and what your goals are, I think Susie Walsh's work about your value systems really helps to examine like why your goals are what they are in the first place, right? Or even why you are desiring to improve, right? Sort of achievement being one of the identified goals in her work. But of course, her work is more focused on career and what to sort of do with do for a living based on your values and your aptitudes and your economically viable interests, right? So there's a lot that goes into that, and I think that the most important part of her work, for me at least, was this notion that we should be reevaluating our values at different stages of our lives. And so, if you're like me, you have these same sorts of questions about how to improve, and maybe asking folks around you for advice, and should I do this or do that, and that's what brought me to even when I met a 90-year-old man recently, asked him that question, like what advice do you have, what kind of wisdom can you share for the rest of us? And he was quick to joke about Johnny Walker Red Label. That was it. That was his advice, and so I don't know. I hope that me sharing, these 3 reads, right, whether you physically read the book or listen to the audiobook, that might help you on your journey. And I do think about Susie Walsh's advice on reevaluating things at each step of the way when I talk to new parents, right, or when I reflect on my experiences, as a father. I have a 9-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I just say, you're going to learn a lot about yourself, throughout this process, right? You could have read all the books out there in the world about how you should raise your child, and maybe theories on self-soothing and things, but when it's your child crying, you're going to find out in a hurry like what your values are, and so for me, I'm always putting my children first, right? James Clear, I have these goals of, right, maintaining a sort of physical fitness, right? I want to be lean, I want to maintain a certain aesthetic, and certainly weight for health reasons and everything, but largely the aesthetics. but all of that has quickly, like that routine then of working out and the dieting, I'm able to stick to the diet, but the working out and the step count every day, that those sorts of things kind of go by the wayside when my kids want to hang out. Right? I mean, it is what it is. And those are my values. Just, plain and simple. I'm going to prioritize them, their needs, their interests over my own at times, or, try to find ways to, I guess, come up with new goals and things that and reform my identity, right? Again, thinking of James Clear's language, to, I don't know, just fit it all together and make it all, kind of cohesive. So now their needs and interests kind of become my own, and I'm supporting them and myself at the same time. So that's just the way it goes for me. So I encourage you to think about things like that. I hope that little bit of advice is helpful to you. I mean, that's why you're here. I think maybe following my channel and just gleaning some ideas and insights from my life to then reflect on your own. As I share what I learned along the way, and some personal stories and trials and tribulations of just life and whatnot. So yeah, I guess that's it for me. Keep it short and sweet, 6 minutes. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment down below, all that fun stuff. I mean, they call it social media. Gotta be social. Comment down below, all right? Or put out your own content, link something. I'll be happy to watch yours and comment on yours, right? We can trade, we can back and forth, we can engage, we can be social through this media form. So anyway, have a great day. Happy Thursday. Countdown to Christmas is on. Christmas, New Year's, turning over a new leaf. Maybe that's a good time to reevaluate things, values, goals, habits, routines, etc. Happy Hanukkah. I think it's the fourth night. Anyhow, thanks again. Have a great day. See ya.